After you've lived in more than one country, something strange starts to happen. You hesitate when someone asks, "Where are you from?" not because you don't know the answer, but because any single answer you give feels incomplete. It feels like you're leaving a huge part of your story out. And that feeling, that hesitation, is just the beginning of a much deeper shift. Living abroad changes so much more than just your address. It slowly, quietly, and profoundly reshapes how you see yourself, the world, and your place in it. Many expats, immigrants, and people who are globally mobile experience something that we rarely put a name to: an identity crisis. But it's a unique kind. It's not a crisis that comes from losing yourself, but from becoming too many versions of yourself all at once. And that can be incredibly disorienting.
So, what exactly is an expat identity crisis? It's not about hating where you're from, and it's not about rejecting where you live now. It's about the feeling of existing in the space between. You go back home for a visit, and you realize you don't fully belong there anymore. The inside jokes don't land the same way, the cultural references have moved on without you, and you see your own home country through the eyes of an outsider. But then, in your new country, you're constantly reminded that you don't fully belong there either. You're the one with the accent, the one who doesn't get the childhood TV show reference, the one who has to ask how the system works. You find yourself in a permanent state of in-between. Your sense of humor starts to change depending on who you're with. You might have a dry, sarcastic wit with your friends from back home, but a more direct, playful humor with your new friends. Your core values, things you thought were set in stone, begin to adapt and evolve. Maybe you become more community-minded or more individualistic. Depending on the culture you're immersed in, your accent might shift subtly. Or you start code switching, effortlessly flipping between languages and cultural contexts without even thinking about it. Even your personality can start to feel situational. You might be more reserved and thoughtful in one language and more boisterous and expressive in another. And slowly, over time, you realize that the question "who am I?" has stopped having a simple, one-word answer. It's become a complex, multi-layered question that you live with every single day. Why does this happen? Let's look at some light psychology here, no jargon. I promise, our sense of identity isn't something we build all by ourselves in a vacuum. It's deeply shaped by our context, by the language we speak, the culture we're in, and the constant reflection we get from the people around us. We understand who we are, in part, by seeing ourselves through the eyes of others. They are our mirrors. When you move to a new country, all those mirrors change. The version of you that made perfect sense in your home country, your humor, your communication style, your social cues doesn't always translate. It might be misinterpreted, or it might just not resonate in the same way. So what do? We adapt. We learn the new rules. We adjust our behavior to connect, to be understood, to fit in. We build a new version of ourselves that works in this new context. And then maybe we move again, and we have to adapt all over again. Over time, your identity stops feeling like this fixed, solid thing and starts becoming much more fluid, more flexible. You learn to be a chameleon. But sometimes you look in the mirror and you're not sure which color you're supposed to be today. This isn't a sign of weakness, it's a testament to our incredible human capacity for adaptation. But it can also leave you feeling ungrounded, like you're floating without an anchor. This whole experience shows up in small, quiet, and often unspoken ways. You find yourself missing a place that doesn't really exist anymore. You feel this deep nostalgia for your home country, but when you go back, you realize that the country has changed, and more importantly, you have changed. The home you miss is a snapshot in time, a memory. You're grateful for the life you've built and the experiences you've had. But you also feel this strange sense of being rootless. You have friends and connections all over the world, but nowhere feels like the definitive home. Another thing that happens is you start to notice you're a different person, depending on the language you're speaking. Maybe you feel more logical and direct in English, but more emotional and poetic in Spanish or French. Each language carries a culture, a history, a way of seeing the world. And when you inhabit that language, you inhabit that world just for a moment. And with all of this comes a strange feeling of guilt. You might feel guilty for not fitting in perfectly back home anymore, or guilty that you can't fully integrate into your new culture. You feel guilty for having this incredible privilege of living abroad, while also feeling this deep sense of displacement. It is a complex cocktail of emotions that most people who haven't lived it just can't understand. Now, here is the most important part of this whole conversation, a crucial reframe. What you're experiencing is not a failure of identity. You haven't done anything wrong. You didn't lose your roots, you multiplied them. Your sense of self didn't shatter or disappear, it expanded. It stretched across continents, across cultures, and across incredible life experiences. What feels like confusion is often just complexity. And complexity is not a problem to be solved. It's a form of depth. It is a richness that people who have only ever lived in one place might never get to experience. Think of your identity not as a single sturdy oak tree with one deep root, but as a banyan tree with roots that drop down from its branches, creating a whole interconnected forest that is all part of the same organism. Each root connects you to a different place, a different time, a different version of yourself. And they all feed the whole. This is not weakness, this is strength. This is resilience. This is a new, more modern way of understanding what it means to be human in a globalized world. So, you don't have to choose one version of yourself to be the real one. The you that grew up in your hometown is real. The you that learned a new language and navigated a foreign bureaucracy is real. The you that can cook dishes from 3 different continents and has friends in 5 different time zones is real. They are all you. They are all authentic. You are not rootless. You are multi-rooted. And learning to live with that beautiful, messy, and profound complexity is one of the biggest and most rewarding parts of the expat journey, the part that no one ever prepares you for. It's a journey of embracing the and instead of the or. You can be from here asterisk and asterisk from there. You can feel at home in this language asterisk and asterisk in that one. You can be all of these things at once. And that is a beautiful thing. This channel is all about exploring these kinds of topics: identity, belonging, and what it means to build a life between cultures. If any of this resonated with you today, just know you are not alone here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll stick around for more conversations like this.